Welcome to Microeconomics. Today we'll be doing perfect com. This is the first of the 4 market structure. And what is important for this? Since this is the first one out of the 4, I will be doing it rather slowly. We'll be focusing on the characteristics. If you identify the wrong one, the problem would be due to the characteristics. If you identify the structure wrongly, you will end up having a lot of consequential errors, right? So the next part, we're going to talk about the curves. There will be a lot of drawing of the curves. All the drawings, everyone have to focus on profit maximization drawings, all right? So for the profit, we'll have a few types of profits, and you must be able to draw all the different type of profit scenario. As for the rest, long run, short run, this will be things that you have already studied when you are doing production factors and costs, so not to worry for the rest. So look at this. What we're going to have is we are looking at market structure. What is market structure? It is the characteristics that will affect the behavior of firms in the market. This market structure idea, we are only having 4 main types. As you know, it is very difficult for you to find one particular company that only strictly exhibits one type of market structure. So what I'm trying to say is this is just very broad categories that we try to force the companies that we see on hand into one of the 4. All right. So in theory, we will just find the best match. That means if the characteristics of this company best fitted perfect com, we will say it's perfect com. But you know that it will not be 100% match. No company will say I'm in a perfect com market structure, all right? Or I'm in a monopolistic com market structure, because this is just economics categories that we trying to put into place. So let us look at the characteristics. For the perfect com, we have a large number of small firms. So meaning we will go through one by one for each of the characteristics. The first one, what is the implication of a large number of small firms? That means everyone cannot influence the price. There will only be one price. You cannot change the price. All right? Because there's so many firms around. If you charge higher than other people, the customers will not buy from you. Basically, that's the idea. Now, what does homogeneous mean? The goods cannot be distinguished from one another. When we talk about cannot be distinguished, what we are trying to say is that the customer will not have any preference. That means if inside one basket the potato is quite equally big, we will not prefer one basket to another. Another way of comparing could be if you borrow $1 from me, which is a coin, and you borrow $1 from another friend of yours, is both $1, so you wouldn't have any preference which $1 to you, even if there is some difference, like the year that is being made. But to you, when you're using it, $1 is $1. There wouldn't be any preference when you're using it. So that is what we mean by homogeneous product. The next characteristic is free entry and exit. So meaning resources are completely mobile to freely enter or exit a market. Now, what is the implication? That means if there is money to be made, you will enter the market. If there is no money to be made, you will, or not enough money to be made, you'll exit. Because of this free entry and exit, it will usually mean, just write it down first, normal profit. Normal profit. That means zero economic profit. Due to free entry and exit, you will have normal profit, which means zero economic profit. Why does it happen? Remember, if there's a lot of money to be made, there will be competitors entering into this, since it is free entry. So if they enter into this, your profit will be diluted because there are more competitors now. Opposite is true. If they find that this industry does not really help them to make much money, they can actually change the resources. Alright, just by selling the shop or whatever, they can change the resources and enter into another business. So this is the free entry and exit, which will mean normal profit, zero economic profit. So what does perfect knowledge mean? There are two sides to it. When we talk about perfect knowledge, the firms will be knowing the technology available. Alright, that means there won't be any situation that they do not know how to do it. That's why there is free entry. People will know how to do it. Give you an example. We are talking about no brand bubble tea, okay? No brand. That means you don't tell me about Gong Cha or whatever brand, Koi or whatever. So when we talk about no brand, it could be any void deck, HDB block under the first level of HDB shop house block. Then there's this selling the bubble tea, alright, brandless type. So what will happen is they will have the technology, they will know how to get the machine to seal up the cup, where to buy the pearls, where to get the tea and so on. So technology is no problem, not an issue. If you want, you can actually go and source it out and know where to buy it. Okay, I have students who told me you can get it from Alibaba. Then the next thing is consumer will also know the prices charged. Now, this is the part. So many of them selling bubble tea. So if you walk around the HDB shop houses, you'll see that maybe bubble tea is about 120 or $1. Alright? So you are very aware of the prices. If anyone sell this kind of no brand bubble tea at maybe 150, you rather walk maybe 2 more shops away to get another cup which is actually selling at $1 or 120. What for you go and buy 150? You know what I mean? Okay, so consumers are very smart. They already know the prices because there are so many shops around there selling the same thing. What is the price taker? Make a note, opposite will be price maker, opposite will be price maker. So what is a price taker? It is a seller. The seller will have no control over the price. Why no control? Do you remember the bubble tea that I just mentioned? If it is no brand, you have no control. So if you want to sell more expensively due to perfect knowledge, consumers will walk away. So end up what happens? You have no sales. Alright? Then the other way is, do you want to sell cheaper? Remember, due to the condition, just now we had the free entry and exit of firms. You are already making zero economic profit. So there's no point for you to sell cheaper than the market. If you sell cheaper than the market, you will make loss, okay, economic loss. So there's no point for you to do that. Therefore, looking at it, you are a price taker. Whatever the market is doing, you just take that price and you sell at that price. Alright? There's no other price that you can be selling. So perfect com, note now, this is perfect com. Perfect com firm as a price taker. I've already mentioned, in this case, it will be perfectly elastic. Perfectly elastic. So if we look at one firm, highlight this part, this is an individual. So if you are talking about the individual firms, the demand curve is actually a horizontal line. It is perfectly elastic. Okay, but then which means that you can sell any cups if you want, but if the price is $1, you can only sell at $1. Now this is talking about individual. If you remember, when we studied, demand curve is always downward sloping, correct? So note now, the market demand curve is still downward sloping. Just now we are talking about individual. Individual means that whatever amount that you want to sell, you sell at the market price. But when you talk about the whole market, the demand curve will be downward sloping. Why is the demand curve downward sloping? You imagine there will be tea drinkers, coffee drinkers, if you want to entice more coffee drinkers to drink tea, you have to really lower the price of the tea so that you can get more tea drinkers, right? You want them to convert to tea drinkers, you have to lower the price. So if that's the case, for example, if the whole market is selling bubble tea at 120, if I'm a coffee drinker, I may not be interested. But if the whole industry, remember it's the whole industry, go down the price to $1 for 1 cup of bubble tea, maybe I will, instead of drinking coffee, I will drink tea. Alright, but each of them, if it's 120, each of them will sell at 120. If it's $1, each of them will sell at $1. Alright, when we talk about individual, there's no other pricing. But if you talk about the whole industry, yes, it could be. The whole industry can drop price together to entice more drinker to get more business or whatever. So remember, there won't be any incentive to charge lower. A lot of people miss out this point. They keep on thinking we can charge lower to get more volume. No. You already making zero economic profit. Any lower, you're making economic loss. So that doesn't make sense. Alright, this is the minimum you should stay in the business. Okay, what does the perfectly competitive firm control? Only how many units you produce. So if you have $1, you can sell a lot of cups, or you can sell less than that, depending on business, of course. So let us see this table. Why am I showing you a table with so many fives around? I will go slowly on this table. We are looking at output, and we are talking about revenue. Now, if you are selling 1 cup, okay, let's assume that we have a fixed one, the fixed one. So if you are selling at 1 cup, the price that you're selling will be at the market rate, which is, in this case, for example, $5. What is the average price? If you sell $5 for 1 cup, average price is actually $5. Total revenue also 5. Alright, if you sell only 1 cup, of course 1 times 5, your revenue is 5. So from 0 to the first cup, what is the revenue you make? 5. Marginal, we are talking about additional. So from 0 to the first cup. Now when we move on to the second cup, the second cup that you are selling, you also sell at $5. Remember, you cannot change the price. What is the average revenue? It's still 5. Right? You sell 2 cups at 10, each cup will be $5. Total revenue is 10. 2 times 5 is 10. Marginal revenue. How much revenue you get from the second cup? It will be the second cup minus the first cup in the total revenue. Remember the formula, change in TR over change in output, which will give you 5. So if you continue doing that, you'll find that the price is always 5, the average is always 5. Total revenue, of course, will increase. Each cup will contribute $5 to your revenue. So look at it, it is actually a horizontal line. Highlight this part, it can be price or revenue. Price or revenue. X-axis is output. Now look, the price is $5. If you sell 10 cups, 10 times 5, 50. Average cup is 50 divided by 10, 5. Okay, so how about the marginal cup? If you want to sell another cup, how much can you sell? Also 5. So the price is actually fixed. So this is a very important characteristics of perfect market structure. Perfect competitive market structure. So how many units should you produce? Of course, we are into maximize profit or minimize losses. Of course, hopefully it's maximize profit. So how can we maximize profit? We'll go slowly at this point because we are embarking on the new law. Now, total revenue minus total cost, that will be your profit. If you know the total, that will be good. Alright, how does that work? I'll come back on this point later. So let us see the idea of total revenue and total cost. It will be actually at the distance between these two will be the greatest. What do I mean? If you look here, what you're trying to do is your revenue Alright, your revenue will be increasing at every cup you sell. Correct? Every cup you sell, you'll be having more and more revenue. Your cost could be initially due to whatever the reasons, it will be more here. Then after that, it will slide back. But this part is losses. When we look at the total greatest distance between total revenue and the cost, we are looking at this part where you have profit. So from here, you'll be estimating, oh, this part is maybe the greatest distance, so you'll be looking at maybe this quantity. Alright, so this is one way that we can get, which is this part most probably due to the fixed cost. Remember, if you produce very few quantity, you have rental. The rental will go into those few cups that you are selling. But when you are selling more, what happens? The rental will be absorbed by so many units of cups, so you will actually incur less cost for each cup. Alright, after that, why did it go up again? Maybe there will be some inefficiencies due to the law of diminishing marginal returns. So what happens? This part, the cost will go up again. Now, we can go back to this another way of determining how many units to produce. This is the marginal revenue minus the marginal cost concept. Remember, the word marginal means the additional one. If you look at the marginal revenue formula, it is the change in total revenue divided by the change in output. So when you compute, you can get something. How about the marginal cost? Marginal cost is the change in total cost over the change in the output. Of course, the cost can be, the formula can also be change in total variable cost over change in output, because there's no change for fixed cost. Alright, the formula can be the other way also, depending on what information is given to you, so that you no need to go through one more round, minus off all the, or if you only have the variable cost, you no need to add in all the fixed cost to get the total change in total cost, and then you recalculate again. Alright. Can you draw 5 stars for this rule? This is the amount that the firm should produce. This law is true for all market structures. Okay, this is the most important thing. The marginal revenue will be equals to the marginal cost. So in short, regardless of what market structure, if you are lost, if you want to produce the most profit, you should be producing here. Or if you want to produce the least losses, you should be producing at this point. Now, let's look at this part very closely. Yeah? I'm trying to explain why you should produce where MR equals to MC. Now, look at this part where MR is greater than MC. That means one additional that you are trying to sell, the revenue is more than the cost. So if you sell one more cup, what will happen? You will actually sell at maybe 120. Then what about your cost? The pearls, the tea, the plastic cup, the cover, everything, the label for doing that short period of time doing that thing. Maybe what you have is the cost is maybe 80 cents. So 120 minus 80, you have 40 cents earning on one cup. So should you produce more? The answer, of course, is yes. However, when you keep on producing, maybe your cost will increase. Maybe not enough manpower and so on and so forth. Alright? But you will still produce as long as your revenue will be more than your cost. So even if your cost is $1.10, but you can sell $1.20, you still earn 10 cents. Can you see that? So the idea here is you should produce until you will actually move to the equilibrium output where your revenue equals to your cost. That means you will generate volume. But that last cup you're selling, most probably no profit anymore. Alright? Now, how about here? Will you produce beyond it? Now, if you look, what happens to this part? The additional cup that you are selling, the marginal revenue, is less than your cost. That means maybe your cost is 140 and you can sell that cup of bubble tea at 120. So if you do that, what will happen? You will be making a loss of 20 cents. So why would you want to do that? Most probably you won't want to sell that cup. So even if you talk about you sell that cup at 120 and your cost is 130, you also don't want to waste that 10 cents. Can you see that? So what will happen is, regardless which side you are, MR greater than MC or MR smaller than MC, you will still settle down at this point where MR will be exactly equals to MC. That means you will be producing until the amount, the quantity, we are trying to decide the profit maximization quantity. The quantity you should be producing is at the point where whatever that the cup of bubble tea gives you the additional 120, the cost is also 120. That means you don't earn until that cup already. So that is the idea. Alright, if you don't get exactly, because this is theory, in practical, maybe a lot of the cost structure doesn't come by per unit, right? You employ one more staff, it will be jack up the whole cost already. Or when you order the cups or whatever you order in bulk, you don't order by 1 unit and 1 unit, you see? So the cost and everything, what we will be doing is we will get this one as close as possible. Alright, as close as possible. In reality, due to batch processing, it may not be exactly the same. Alright, so next time when you do business, you will know that. So this is the reason, alright, to establish why MR equals to MC. That means if I want to ask you, if I ask you what is the amount that you should produce, you will say you should produce at the profit maximization rule, which is MR equals to MC. If I ask you, explain why this is the profit maximization rule, you will have to go through this part where MR is greater than MC and also go through this part where MR is less than MC to tell me why you want to stop at MR equals to MC. So this one is why. Alright, explaining why and how you derive MR equals to MC. So whatever I've explained, it is in the literature over this side. You should produce as long as MR is greater than MC. So every last unit, you will still earn some money from it. So you should continue producing. Opposite is true. Once your cost exceeds your revenue, you sell any unit, you'll be incurring a loss. So you might as well don't do that business. Alright? You might as well cut down your production. So what is the short run talking about? Short run can be any of the situation. You can be making supernormal profit, normal profit, or subnormal. Okay, before I move on, what is supernormal profit? Supernormal profit means that your revenue, alright, you'll be earning economic profit of which is positive number. Remember, this is a perfect competitive market structure, which means that when you're earning supernormal profit, there will be people, due to free entry and exit, there will be people coming into the business. How about subnormal? Opposite is true. If you are earning subnormal, you might as well do other business. You might as well work for others. Become an employee. What for? You do your entrepreneur project and then end up, making a loss. So end up, these people, those people who cannot make it, cannot earn enough money, they will exit. And therefore, there will be less players, less sellers in the market. So the rest will earn back a normal profit. So in the short run, it can be any of it. But in the long run, it will only be normal profit. Alright? Let me repeat. For a perfect confirm, in the long run, it will be normal profit. In the short run, it can be any of the three. Why long run will be normal profit? Reason is free entry and exit. That's the reason. Okay, now let's look closely at the graph. For supernormal profit, what you have is this side is the price or the cost, whichever, depending on you are looking at cost curve or you are looking at the price curve. So this y-axis can be price or cost. X-axis, can you add in? It will be the output, the quantity, output. So if you look at this particular graph, we are talking about supernormal profit. Now, I will go through very slowly. So look at the graph. Firstly, you draw the horizontal line. Remember, only perfect comp, the price equals to marginal revenue equals to average revenue. You sell whatever that price, the next one you have to sell at the same price. You cannot up or down the price. The average price will be that price also because you are the price taker. There's no other price. Alright, you sell higher, people won't buy from you. You sell lower, you're going into a normal profit. Now, next thing, ATC and AVC you have learned in the last lesson. Note here, this ATC will be, this side will be wider than this side. Reason? Fixed cost. ATC will include the fixed cost. AVC will not have the fixed cost. So if you only produce very little, your rental will be absorbed by the very little cups of, few cups of the bubble tea. Alright, so end up, of course, your average total cost will be high for those few cups of bubble tea. But if you produce more, what happens? The fixed cost will be absorbed by so many cups of bubble tea, and therefore it will be closer to the variable cost, which is the tea price, the cup price, the labor price, the pearl price, or whatever. Alright, so the next part you have to note is how much are you going to produce. Now, your MC curve, last week we already gone through marginal average rule. Your MC must cut through the AVC and the ATC at the minimum point. Alright, so after you have drawn all this, we are looking at the profit maximization rule, which is MR equals to MC. Now look at this MR. This MR is actually referring to the horizontal line. MR equals to MC is actually talking about this point. Can you see? So this point is the point, the amount that you should produce if you want to maximize profit or minimize losses. In that case, it means here, which is 6. Always look for MR equals to MC first. Don't do anything else. Next, then you draw. Remember, this is also the price. How do you get profit? Profit equals to the total revenue minus total cost. Now, if you have the price, this is the price. Look here. This is the price. And this part is the quantity. Price times quantity is the total revenue. Correct? Total revenue is the price, which is 60, times the quantity, which is 6. How about the cost? You already have the average total cost. Average total cost. But how many are you producing? I'm producing 6. So I'm looking at this point. From here, you draw a line down. When it touches the ATC, this is the total revenue part. Alright? So how to shape the super normal profit? It will be this side. This part. Because the quantity is the same. The only difference is the selling price and the cost price. The cost price, look at the ATC. At point goes to quantity goes to 6 is this. So therefore, we have this profit. Remember, price higher than cost is a profit. Leave the AVC alone. AVC is not for you to check the total cost. Later on, you see the purpose of the AVC. I will actually reiterate the AVC later. So here you see, for this graph, AVC is redundant. Can you see? Even if you don't have the AVC, you still can get back your profit. Alright? Now, let us look at the normal situation. Normal situation, you will also be drawing ATC, AVC. MC curve will still cut through all the minimum point. Now, let us look at MR equals to MC now. Everything we look at profit maximization rule. So, for here, it is this point. And there's nothing to shade. Reason? Total revenue will be equals to total cost. That means your selling price, your cost will also be the same. Therefore, when you are drawing normal profit, make sure your ATC will touch on the price or the MR, and these 3 points actually intersect. These three curves, MC, ATC, and the MR will intersect so that you have nothing to shade. Alright? So this is the normal profit. Write a note, this is for the long run. Long run, you will get normal profit. If I want long run, just draw this. Now, can we see the subnormal profit or losses? Subnormal. Remember, for subnormal, it means that it is the term to use is subnormal profit. If not, you will use the term, it will just be economic losses. Alright, there's no such thing as subnormal losses. Alright, I repeat, this whole thing, subnormal profit, or you say losses straight away, or economic losses. There's no such thing as subnormal losses. Alright, now look, we are having the ATC, AVC, and MC. Everything is the same. MC will cut through the minimum point. Now, what happened to your price here? Your price is lower than your cost, ATC. Your price is lower than your ATC. Which means what? Look here, if you sell one more marginal revenue, you'll be selling at 30. But then, what is the cost of producing that particular one? It will be here, which is maybe 48. So that means you're subsidizing your customer, you're making a loss. So this is the loss part. Now, how does the AVC come into picture? Now, look closely. Before I proceed, can you find a place and write this down? To determine how much profit or loss, see ATC and price. I repeat, to determine how much profit or loss, see ATC and price. So we always see ATC. Look here, this is the ATC and the price. In this case, cost is higher than price, it is a loss. Just now, this part, when the cost is lower than the price is a profit. As for here, of course, it's the same. No loss, no profit. Now, can you write the next part down? To determine whether to shut down, see AVC and price. To determine whether to shut down, see AVC and price. Now, let us look this AVC. Should we shut down or not? The answer is for this particular curve, this graph you should continue and not shut down. Why? Now look, if you are producing at the profit maximization rule, which is MR equals to MC, which is this point, which is 5. When you're actually producing 5, what happened to your variable cost? Is here. Can you see? At 5, your variable cost is here, which is about 25. But how much are you selling? You're selling at 30. So what does it mean? The fixed cost, no doubt you're losing money, but this one is due to the fixed cost, most probably. So you already incur rental. Whether you sell the next cup or not, you cannot tell a landlord, I cannot sell the next cup, so can you charge me cheaper? No such thing. Alright? So if your rental is 5,000, it means 5,000. It will not change, whether you sell another cup or not. However, if you sell this another cup, look here, you sell at 30, but your cost is 25. That means you earn a $5 to help to cover up for the fixed cost loss. Can you see? So for such a situation, you should hang on. Hopefully, other companies will shut down first so that you have less competition and you can revert back to normal profit. That is the hope. Alright? So I repeat, look here. Always look at MR equals to MC. In this case, 5. For 5 unit, what will happen is your cost is actually below. Look here, your AVC is the variable cost. Your variable cost, if it's below the price, you still will make a bit of money out from the next one, because your ATC, your fixed cost cannot change already. You cannot tell your landlord that you want to reduce rent because you want to sell another unit. No such thing. Okay. Now, what happened to shut down? This is a situation where the company will shut down. Look at ATC, ABC, and the MC. MC will cut through the minimum point. Where should you produce? You should produce where MR equals to MC. MR equals to MC is at this point. This is the MC, this is MR, so this is the point. Profit maximization rule means you should produce 4. But at 4, what happened? The price that you're selling is 20. Can you see? You already made a loss. Your total cost including the rental or whatever is 50. But you're selling 20. Alright? And what is the variable? Look at the variable. The variable is about 25. That means whatever that you put in, the ingredient and so on, even you don't count the rental, it is actually cost you 25. But you're selling 20. So the more you sell, what will happen? You are enlarging your losses. Can you see? So here, even though it is actually subnormal profit, you will shut down immediately to cut loss. Compared to just now this part. That's why I say that to determine whether to shut down, see the A, B, C and price. A, B, C is the one. The fixed cost, there's no way you can get back. So hopefully the competitors are in this category, so they will shut down immediately. Then you have less competition. So for your situation, which is here, you can move back to normal profit. Next part is the supply curve. How do we draw the supply curve? You know it's an upward sloping curve. So it is actually above the minimum point on the AVC. Above the minimum point. Why is it above the minimum point? Now if you see this, you will understand. Remember we mentioned if the price is below the AVC, what will happen? You might as well shut down immediately. Because every unit that you sell can't even cover your variable cost. So the more you sell, the more losses you make. Therefore, nobody will be producing at this level. Alright? These companies all at this level already shut down. So, which means the only possible sellers available will be at this range. Look at my line. Whatever the price that is going up, up and up, all this part, there is possible that people are selling. Alright? Though, of course, here to here, what will happen? It is making subnormal profit. But this part is making normal profit. And this part is making super normal profit. However, this part, people will already close down immediately. Therefore, it means this red part, the MC curve above the AVC, will become the supply curve. Because there will be sellers there. So what about the long run? Long run, we will actually, as I mentioned, always making normal profit. The idea is just to change the name of the graphs from the, what you have is your short run average total cost will be equals to the long run average cost curve and so on. Alright. But you'll be choosing the one that actually having the least cost. If you remember what we have done. For short run, you can have many different cost curves. But of course, you will choose the one that when you are producing, it's the same rule. MR is here. When your MR equals to MC, that is the profit maximization rule. This is the MC, this is the MR. So you must be producing at 6. However, remember the characteristic that there is free entry and exit. When you're making super normal profit, competitors will come in, dilute your profit. When you're making subnormal profit, there will be some who go out of business. So you're making normal profit. End up long run will still be normal profit. So this is the correct graph for you to draw the long run. There should not be any place for you to shade. Alright? With that, thank you class.